Okay, so basically, if I'm understanding this, this is saying that this is now completely allowed on Twitch as long as you are appropriately labeling it. So essentially, all of the kind of like cam-esque adjacent streaming is now allowed on Twitch as long as they expressly put in the tags that they're doing that. Twitch.television, everyone's favorite degenerate live streaming platform. Well, they're back at it again. That's right, the other day I released a video called What is Going On at Twitch, where we discussed the new, questionable streamer meta that is going on over at Twitch.television, specifically the topless streamer meta. To my surprise, I woke up this morning on December 13th to see a update to Twitch's content guidelines. So to make it short, I'm pretty sure that a big part of this update to these sexual guidelines came from streamers and OnlyFans model Morg Pie's recent set of streams where she started the new topless meta. Basically, Morgan, to her credit, found a loophole where basically she could stream topless as long as there was no nipple shown. Of course, this started a bit of a chain reaction where we saw several other streamers jump on this bandwagon, similar to the other degenerate Twitch metas of the past, such as the ASMR meta, the hot tub meta. You get the idea. To be effective, policies need to be easy to understand so that a streamer knows what is allowed on the site and what is not allowed. Yes, I imagine it would be a good idea to know what is allowed and what is not allowed when you're trying to follow rules, wouldn't it? Now, personally, before we get into this, I'm gonna be honest, I'm an old Twitch head, so I don't really think that like a lot of like certain sexual content themes outside of stuff that appears in games should really be allowed on Twitch. At the end of the day, though, that's never going to happen, so I'm very curious to see just how Twitch is going to enforce allowing some kind of sexually suggestive content on their platform. Content recommendations for the homepage. We recognize that not all members of the community want to see certain content even if it is properly labeled with a content classification label. When a CCL is applied, viewers must provide explicit consent before they can start watching the stream. However, if labeled streams are shown on the Twitch homepage, viewers may still see the content in stream thumbnails that make them uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of jarring sometimes to like open Twitch and it takes you directly to the homepage and to be like seeing instantly like either hot tub or pool streams or for instance like a completely topless streams. It's definitely a little bit jarring, I'm not gonna lie. It's not what I have come to expect from my game streaming site. We want to make sure the homepage, which is often the first page that's landed upon, is more aligned with the viewer expectations. To address this, we're updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. Streams that are labeled as including drugs, intoxication, or excessive tobacco use. Damn, rip my vape niche out there, boys. Violent and graphic depictions, gambling and or sex themes will no longer be included in homepage recommendation shelves due to the visual nature of these topics. That's a good change, I won't even lie. Streams labeled as including mature rated games and profanity will not be affected by this update unless the streamer has selected one of the labels bolded above. So on the surface, this seems like a pretty good change, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, Twitch is pretty down with allowing certain kind of sexually suggestive themes on their platforms, which is fine. It's their platform, they can do whatever they want. But it is nice that it's not going to be just like very much flashing in your face anymore when you open Twitch. We have to remember that like a decent amount of Twitch viewers like are under 18, are basically children, so it is kind of wild that you're just like flashing like, you know, very suggestive sexual themes straight to it, beaming it straight to them instantly when they open it. Let's be honest with ourselves though, these people, even if you're under 18, are still going to actively seek this out, and just having a, you know, a tab show up that says like, you know, click this if you're over 18 isn't going to stop people who are actually, you know, under 18. I'm very curious to see though if this explains at all what exactly is not allowed. What is changing with this new update? Some types of content that were prohibited will now be allowed on Twitch if appropriately labeled. Streamers found it difficult to determine what was prohibited and what was allowed, and often evaluating whether or not a stream violated this portion of the policy was subjective. In addition, the former suggestive content policy was out of line with the industry standard and resulted in female presenting streamers being disproportionately penalized. Okay, so basically, if I'm understanding this, this is saying that this is now completely allowed on Twitch as long as you are appropriately labeling it. So essentially, all of the kind of like cam girl-esque adjacent streaming is now allowed on Twitch as long as they expressly put in the tags that they're doing that. In addition, this includes fictionalized, drawn, animator, sculpted, fully exposed female presenting. I'm not going to say I'm really surprised on this at all, actually. Twitch is just completely accepting the fact that, you know, like, let's say, like, 75 to 90% of their average viewer base is just a complete degen. So you might as well just accept that because that's what they want. Changes to popular dances. Popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. Previously, some dances were prohibited and others were allowed with a label. Enforcing on dances regardless of content meant our policy prohibited twerking at a wedding or taking pole dancing classes, example. The policy now take context into consideration and only prohibits streaming inside of an adult entertainment establishment. It's honestly hilarious to me that we even have to ask these questions, but hey, at least they're being actually specific now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure there's a decent amount of people out there who are probably a bit triggered by this. They're probably like super upset that the fact that Twitch is allowing any kind of sexual content at all, which, you know, I empathize with you, but come on guys, sex sells. This is just the world that we live in now. You have to also accept the fact that like 90% of Twitch viewers are absolute degens. Personally, I think that this honestly solved the main problem that I had with a lot of the sexually suggested content, was that it was like being thrust upon me, you know, without my consent. But now that they're making these changes to the homepage, honestly, that kind of solves most of the problems that I had in general. At the end of the day, if you're going to do this type of like sexually suggested content, you know, go get the bag. But I just appreciate that Twitch is no longer thrusting it in my face when I just want to watch some gaming streams. How does Twitch handle nudity in gaming? First, games featuring sexual content as a core focus feature are entirely prohibited. Custom gameplay or visual mods that include nudity or sex content, including uncensored patches and otherwise allowed games, are prohibited. This is definitely a problem, you know, not just on Twitch, but in the gaming world as well. There's lots of these kind of modded servers, modded games. So it's good that they're being explicit about this. Second, for games where nudity is not the core focus or feature, the mature rated games classification label is sufficient for incidental nudity. Yeah, I mean, you can play games with nudity on Twitch as long as it's like not the main focus, right? It's pretty common. Everyone knows that. I mean, God, everyone's playing Baldur's Gate like a few months ago, right? The mature rated game that I'm playing includes violence, alcohol, gambling, or sexual themes. That mean I also need the relevant content classification levels in addition to the mature rated game label. The mature rated game label covers much of the content, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, so basically this is not going to affect majority, like 99% of gamers at all. If you still play M-rated games, you're completely fine. You will still be on the recommended channels. You're still going to be on the homepage if you play M-rated games. It's literally just for, like we said, these specific tags that they listed up here. These tags right here, which I imagine are only going to be, you know, for things not associated with gaming for the most part. Labeling one of my streams with the CCL also impact the visibility of future streams. Answer: no, past streams do not impact the visibility of future streams. When your stream does not include one of the CCLs, the tags listed above, it will again be eligible to be shown on homepage recommendation shelves. Okay, that's good. Question. This is, I think, the most important question, honestly. What happens if I do not use these tags? Answer. Our sexual themes content classification guidelines describes what content needs to be labeled using these themes. Failure to use these labels correctly will result in warnings, and the correct label will be applied by Twitch to the stream. If you fail to apply the correct tag repeatedly, the tag will be locked onto the stream, but it will not result in a suspension. I'm not gonna lie, that seems like it's going to be rampantly abused, but what do I know? I guess it really just depends on how strictly Twitch is going to be enforcing this and putting the locks of these tags onto the streams, because you already know that there's going to be, you know, some people who probably are intentionally not going to use these tags. Personally, I feel like maybe they should consider temp bans if people are going to like rampantly abuse this, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Overall, this is not really that surprising, and it's really not that controversial. If anything, it was definitely needed, because Twitch for years now has had, you know, weird like gray areas when it comes to like what sexually suggestive content can be allowed and what can't. At the end of the day, people just wanted more explicit answers, I think. And I think the changes made here are pretty good. I'm not surprised at all that they're allowing, you know, this types of content. If anything, they're getting, like we said, looser on what kind of sexually suggestive content they are allowing on their site. You just have to more explicitly tag it. Very curious to see how this is going to go down. I already know that some people are going to abuse this system in some kind of way or fashion. I can almost guarantee it. But I do think that in the broad sense, this is a good thing. It solves most of the problems that most of the people have with sexually suggestive content on Twitch, but you already know that people are going to still be really upset by this. At the end of the day, though, these are just my thoughts and my opinions, and we already know that Twitch is going to run their company however they see fit, and people are always going to complain. To be fair, it's really easy to complain about Twitch because as a company, they make some wild decisions sometimes. As always, if you enjoyed the video, learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on these new Twitch sexual content guideline policy updates, what you think in the comment section down below. Oh yeah, quick shout out to Japan LA for the Leafeon drip. Not sponsored, by the way. They just sell dope clothes. If you want to see more content, please click one of the videos on screen now. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Drink your water, hug your mother. Until next time, peace, love, out.